Deepa, how long does a client project take from start to finish, and how often is it done?
So the duration of a client project actually depends on the age group of the children. An ideal client project should not go beyond 4 weeks, because that's the amount of time that children stay focused and engaged and enthusiastic about it. We generally take one client project a term, so that basically makes it 2 in a year.
What are the key ingredients of a successful client project?
Well, there are lots of things that a client project actually caters to, but I think the most important are, the first one is that work with the client and not for them. And here that means that the children should understand the client's needs exactly, and then try and prototype with the client, getting feedback and then working on it again. The second important ingredient is that of the students to understand the power of the collective. That means that it is not one person or one individual's ability to make the project come alive, but the strengths of each one of them in that group that actually make the project successful. And the third one is that of not falling in love with their idea. And this is extremely important for the children to understand that they have to go back and refine and re-refine the ideas if required, and if that's what the demand of the client is.
What are the key things to keep in mind, Deepa, while facilitating a client project?
The key things to be kept in mind, especially at the planning step, is that to have radical collaboration, have many minds from various subject areas to come together to help you plan through this client project. This will help in enriching the client project itself. Another important thing to be kept in mind is that of aligning the learning objectives to the client project, because we need to cover the academic content in that limited time. The third one is the ability to have experts on call, to make sure that there are always experts available, and if required can be called in at any point of time. Another very important thing to keep in mind is to have the project punctuated with public scrutinies throughout its duration. This helps raise the bar for the students and also helps them know where they are with their own understanding and ownership of the project.
How do you go about identifying a client and dealing with them through the whole process?
Well, as educators, we keep talking to a lot of people and stakeholders, and opportunities are everywhere. All we need to do is be a little more mindful that those opportunities can then be brought back to our children as client projects. And you can do that with parents, with organizations, with people who come as experts to the school, any of them. And for us in particular, over the years now that people have got to know that we do client projects, we now have people approaching us with these kind of client projects.
How do you manage to find the time to do a client project as well as complete the academic curriculum?
Well, since the client projects are basically aligned to the learning objectives, it's not an addition to the academic content, but rather an application of the concepts that the children actually learn in the classroom. They see that happening in real world. And that's basically the blurring of the boundaries between the classroom and the real world. Along with this, there are times that children do have to, because client projects are an extension and take time, so they work on it maybe after school hours or during weekends.
What happens if the children are unable to complete the client project?
Well, that generally doesn't happen because the facilitator is always there advising and guiding the children throughout the entire process. You also have experts that come in to help the children. But if ever it does happen, then the facilitator co-creates the solution to the problem along with the children.
How do you ensure the safety of the students when they need to go out into the real world?
Well, there's always an adult accompanying the children if they're out in the city doing some amount of work with the client project. And here's where we appeal to the parents as well to pitch in at various points if the teachers are not able to accompany the children. We of course also have a dialogue with the children before the client project starts, and through the different points at which they might be going out, to talk to them about safety and precautions they must keep in mind when they're meeting different kinds of people.
What are some of the challenges you have faced while facilitating client projects?
The biggest challenge is getting the availability of the client himself or herself, because there are times that they are traveling and it is difficult for children to get in touch with them. The second is having an audience for the prototypes that the children have created and then trying it out again and again. And the third and the most important actually is the fact that children tend to want to get their hands dirty and get right into the project straight away. So they jump right into the doing part of it rather than taking a pause and really understanding what the actual problem and the need of the client is. And that needs a lot of work.